Hello everyone, welcome back to the class of mathematics. It's 11K sitting here right now and we'll be starting today's class with the functions. Now, how to solve this thing? So, in the question you can see that the function of f is mentioned as f of x is mentioned as x upon 2 plus 3 and the function of g of x is 3 upon 4x minus 2. This is mentioned. So over here, if I take the first question, f of 2, so I am going to put 2 in place of x, and hence it becomes 2 upon 2 plus 3, and it is going to become 1 plus 3, and f of 2 is going to become a 4 over here, where you can see this 2 over here. So I'm going to place it in place of x. So it is going to be like this. And then I'm going to cancel them out like 2 ones are and 2 twos are. So g of 2 is going to become 3 upon 2 minus 2, where I'm going to take the LCM of this part, and it is going to become 3 minus 4, and g of 2 is going to become minus 1 upon 2. So you can see in the question, they want us to add the answer. So function of 2 plus g of 2. The function of 2, the answer was 4. And the function of g, the answer was minus 1 upon 2. So we are going to write it like 4 minus half. And when you subtract half from 4, you get the answer 3 whole number 1 upon 2. Then you get 3 and a half or 3.5. So this is how we solve the question. Now f of minus 1 minus g of minus 1. So f of minus 1 and g of minus 1 is mentioned. I'll take the function of f, x upon 2 plus 3, and I'll write f of minus 1 is equals to minus 1 upon 2 plus 3. And then when I subtract half from 3, and I'm going to get 2.5 over here. So in the same way, when I'll be solving this part, so I'll be getting minus 3 upon 4 minus 2, and then I'll take out the LCM. So it is going to become this. G of minus 1 is this, and then it is going to become minus 11 over 4. f of x, the function was x upon 2 plus 3, and then I attached this 5 at both the sides, this 5 and this 5. You can see that I've attached it at both sides. This becomes 5f of, now I'll replace x by minus 2. So 5f of minus 2 is going to be 5 into minus 2 upon 2 plus 3, and then minus 2 and 2, they cancelled out, minus 1 remain over here, and then this is it. And furthermore, it is going to become 5 into 2, which is a 10. So this was the solution of 5f of minus 2. Now I am going to solve 7g of minus 4. So how will I start solving it? Look at it. The original function of g is 3 upon 4x minus 2. So over here it's mentioned 7g. So I'm going to attach 7 at both ends, and it is going to be like this. And now in the next step, I'll replace every x by minus 4. So over here, I'm going to place minus 4. And now over here, I am going to place minus 4. And then minus 2 is written over here. So this 4 and this 4, they are cancelled out. So this minus 1 remains over here. So many of the students, they do not see that it should be minus 3 minus 2, and they write something different which creates a mess in the question. So 7 into minus 5, and then it is going to become minus 35. So we had to find out the answer of 5f of minus 2 minus 7g of minus 4. So you can see that 5f of minus 2, and we got this answer 10. So we are going to write 10 over here, minus sign as it is, and 7g of minus 4. You can see that 30 minus 35 is the answer. So 10 plus 35, and the final answer is 45. This is how we solve the question. So when you are solving the question, don't be, lenient about anything. Just see that how can we solve it step by step, and ultimately we get our answer in the last. This question has a special part as well, where you can see that it's mentioned over here that what are the values of x for which f of x is equals to g of x. So now you can see that this part f of x and is equals to g of x is a separate question, and f of x is equals to 17 is a separate question. So how will we solve this part? F of x is equals to g of x, and it is easy. By f of x, replace it with its function which is mentioned above there, x upon 2 plus 3, and then replace g of x function by 3 upon 4x minus 2. And now x terms at one side and constants at the other side. Now take out the LCM. This is going to become 2x minus 3x, and this is going to become minus 5. So when you further solve it, it becomes minus x is equals to minus 20. 4 multiplied by 5 is 20. And now cut the minus and minus sign, and you will get your answer as x is equals to 20. This is your answer. Now the next part is f of x is equals to 17. Replace it with the function x upon 2 plus 3 is equals to 17, and then x upon 2 is equals to 17 minus 3, and x upon 2 is equals to 14, where 2 will be cross multiplied and the answer will be 28. So this is our question. Yeah. Now you can see that the function of f is defined here, like f of x is equals to 5x minus 9, and the function of g is defined here as g of x is equals to 2 minus 6x. So if we take part number 1, it says f of x is equals to 16. So wherever you see f of x, we can replace it with 5x minus 9. So I'm going to write 5x minus 9 over here equals to 16. And then 5x is equals to 16 plus 9. And then 5x is equals to 25. And then x is equals to 25 over 5, which is going to be x is equals to 5 is my answer. This is my answer over here. And for the function of g, if we consider this question like g of x is equals to x. So originally g of x is equals to 2 minus 6x, and I'm going to replace 2 minus 6x over here and then x over here. So 2 is equals to x plus 6x. I can write like this. And then 7x is equals to 2. And then x is equals to 2 upon 7 is the answer. Is the answer over here. When these type questions they happen, like f of x is equals to g of x, so it means that you need to compare both the functions. So f of x is 5x minus 9 and g of x is 2 minus 6x. And now x at one side and constants at the other side. And this is going to become 11x is equals to 11 and x is equals to 1 is the answer. Now, if questions like this, they happen. So how are we going to solve such questions? And that is quite easy for us to solve such questions. And the question is 2 f of x is equals to 3 g of x. And what are we going to do? First of all, the function of f of x is 5x minus 9. So I'm going to keep this 2 over here and I'm going to copy the function of f of x, which is 5x minus 9 over here. And now I'll do the same 3 into 2 minus 6x. So over here, then I'm going to make it like 10x minus 18 is equals to 6 minus 18x. And 10x plus 18x is equals to 6 plus 18. And 28x is equals to 24. And x is equals to 24 over 28, which will later be cut by the table of 4. So the final answer is going to become x is equals to 6 over 7. So this is the final answer. Inverse of a function. This is the exercise of inverse of a function mentioned. Whenever we have a function, like for suppose we have got a function 6 minus 5x. This is a function. How to make it the inverse? We have to keep 3 steps in our mind. The very first thing is equate both sides to y. Step number 1. This is step number 1. Step number 2 is make x the subject And number 3 is substitute the value of x. So these are the 3 things which help us to make any function into inverse of it. So we are going to inverse this function now. So the very first step says equate both sides to y. So I am going to equate f of x by y and 6 minus 5x by y as well. And now this is the first step. The second step is to make x the subject. So if I'm going to make this x the subject, you can see that f is multiplying over here. When it goes over here, it becomes like this. And later on, it is going to become like this. And later on, it is going to become like this. So after this step, you can directly do this step. And over here, it is going to become 6 minus y is equals to 5x. And then x is equals to 6 minus y over 5. So this is the second step. And the third step is to substitute the value of x. We have got one of the values of x like this and one other like this. So I am going to take the value of x from here and will put it over here. So it is going to become f inverse of y is equals to 6 minus y upon 5. This is the inverse of the function. But the examiner, he wants it in this state. He asks you to write it in this way. So this is how we solve the question. This has become the inverse of a function. So originally the function was f of x is equals to 6 minus 5x, which after becoming the inverse of it, is going to become f inverse of x is equals to 6 minus x upon 5. Okay? So now we are going to start the exercise. Let us move to the exercise part and see what is happening there. Now this is the exercise. So we'll start. Achha, there are 14 questions in this exercise. And then this is the part of the 7th edition. Look how it's mentioned in the 7th edition, basic, intermediate, and advanced questions are there, and then the past papers. So we are going to solve 1 or 2 questions from this exercise, and then we'll move forward to the past paper questions. So let us consider the first question from this exercise. And now I am going to take the question. So over here, I am taking this question number 6 over here. Question number 6. Yes. And now paste it over here, and a little enlargement is required. Now, the question is f of x is equals to 7 minus 3 upon 5x, and g of x is 1 upon 4x minus 6. So if we take the first question, f inverse of 3, so for that, we'll make this function the inverse first. So the very first step is f of x is equals to y, and then 7 minus 3 over 5x is equals to y as well. And now when I make x the subject over here, it is going to become like this. But be careful over here, 7 minus y is equals to 3 upon 5x, and then 5 into 7 is equals to 3x, and then 5 into 7 minus y upon 3 is equals to x, and you can write it like f inverse of y is equals to 5 into 7 minus y upon 3 is the inverse of this function. And now, as it becomes the inverse of this function, so I am going to put the value f inverse of 3. They have demanded f inverse of 3. So I am writing one more time over here. And now I'll replace every y with 3. So it is going to become like this. And then 5 into 4 upon 3, which is going to become 20 over 3, which is going to become 6 whole number 2 upon 3. So this is the answer of the question. 6 whole number 2 upon 3 is the answer of the question. Now let us see that how do we solve these type questions like part number 6 are mentioned. So for that, I'll select this tool from here and we'll go till here and then erase the screen, and then again I'll erase the screen. Now part number 6 is like f inverse of 4 minus g inverse of 4 is mentioned. So f inverse of 4, the function of f is 7 minus 3 over 5 of x, and we are going to make the inverse of it, so equating both sides to y, and now it is going to become x is equals to f inverse of y, and over here it was becoming like 7 minus y 5 over 3 is going to become x. So later on, it is going to become f inverse of y is going to be 5 into 7 minus y upon 3. And now I am going to place the value f inverse of 4 into it. So wherever is y, I'll replace it by 4. And then it is going to become 5 into 3 upon 3. So 3 and 3, they are cancelled out. So f inverse of 4 is a 5. So in the same way, we'll find out the inverse of g. For that, g of x is 1 over 4x minus 6. So g of x is equals to y, and then 1 over 4x minus 6 is equal to y. And then x is equals to g inverse of y, and over here, when I'm making x the subject, it is going to become x is equals to 4 into y plus 6. So G inverse of y is equals to 4 into y plus 6, where every y will be replaced by 4. So it's like 4 plus 6, and then it is going to become 4 into 10, which is a 40 over here. So I've got both the answers. F inverse of 4 is a 5. So I'm going to write it like this: F inverse of 4 minus G inverse of 4. So F inverse of 4, the answer is 5. And the answer of G inverse of 4 is 40. So the final answer is going to become minus 35. This is how we solve the question. So here comes our exercise. This is it. We are going to take the 13th question from this exercise, and then I'll solve it you in order to give you a better understanding of this exercise. So now this question is here. Now, now let me share my screen with you. Now you can see your question in front of you. It's given that f of x is equals to 5x upon 2 minus 4x, where x is not equals to half means you cannot put half in place of x over here. Otherwise, if you do not listen to it and you place half here and a half here as well, then what will happen? The numerator will survive. But over here, the condition is going to become this. So when you know that something divided by 0 is an infinity. So that's why they have asked you not to put half here at all cost. You need to find out the inverse of this function, and then you need to state the value of x for which f inverse of x is not defined. This is an additional part. So let us see that how to solve these type questions when they appear in our CI examinations. So let us start. So it is going to become f of x is equals to 5x upon 2 minus 4x, and we cannot place the value as half over here. So it's better that I find out f inverse of x. So for f inverse of x, you know this thing that first of all equate it to y, both sides to y, and then make x the subject. So over here, be very careful when you are dealing with this part. Okay. Now it's going to become y into 2 minus 4x. Now, in order to make x the subject, I have to solve it over here. It's going to become 4xy. 4xy. And now I'll keep all the x's at one side and the others at one. So now I'll take the common, and it is going to become 5 plus 4y is equal to 2y. So the next step, I'll write it like x is equals to 2y upon 5 plus 4y. So now you can see I've got two values of x over here and over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write it like f inverse of y is equals to 2y upon 5 plus 4y. As they ask the function in terms of x, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace all y's with x over here. This is how I made my function into an inverse of the function. Acha, now what are they demanding next? State the value of x for which f inverse of x is not defined. My dear students, you know this thing that in order to undefine anything, we equate its denominator by 0. So what I'm going to do, the denominator part is 5 plus 4x. You can see it over here. So I am going to equate by 0. Why? Because I need to find out the value of x for which it's undefined, and it is going to become like this. 5 is equals to minus 4x, and then it is going to become 5 upon 4 in minus sign is equals to x. So this is the value of x. The function will definitely become undefined. Now, how will we prove that the function is going to be undefined? And you are going to look at it over here. I am going to solve this part here, at how the function is going to be undefined. You can see that the inverse of the function is 2x upon 5 plus 4x. You see this thing? And now I am going to place the value over here, minus 5 over 4. So what will happen? 2 into minus 5 over 4 will come over here as well. And 5 plus into 4 into minus 5 over 4 is going to be happening like this as well. So over there, it's going to be minus 5 over 2. It's okay. But what is happening at downwards? Look at it. 4 and 4 cancelled out, and 5 minus 5 over here. So what is going to happen? 0, and it becomes undefined. So it means this is the correct value. This is our answer. Hope you understood it. If you have any problem, then you can ask it over here. That now the inverse is f inverse of x is equals to 2x upon 5 plus 4x, and let's suppose I'm finding out the value of minus 6 over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place minus 6 over here as well, and minus 6 over here as well. So f inverse of minus is going to become minus 12 upon 5 minus 24. So it is going to become minus 12 over minus 19. So cut them, and 12 upon 19 is your final answer. Over here, we solved it like this. Hope you understood it.